This is Ellocution with your host, Ello Black.
This episode is a throwback to a podcast we used to do called The World of Science with Dr. Hans Berger. I did this show with a very dear friend of mine who is a licensed member of the medical community. However, Dr. Hans Berger is fictitious. Viewer discretion and sensibility are advised. Well, I mean, listener discretion, unless you watch this on YouTube. Anyways, please enjoy, be well, and above all, wash your hands. Thanks, pals.
Hello again, and welcome to the COVID Catch-Up with Dr. Hans Berger. I am your host, Genevieve Holcomb Marcellus, and with us, as always, is the insightful and the brilliant Dr. Hans Berger. Dr. Berger, thank you so much for being with us on episode 9 of the COVID Catch-Up.
Of course, and happy Sunday to all. Hello.
Dr. Berger, let's get started. There's so much to cover this week. According to the CDC, we have had a total of 1,622,114 confirmed cases in America. That's 155,049 more cases diagnosed in 7 days since we last spoke. And now there are 97,049 deaths. That is 8,340 deaths this week, Dr. Berger, and we are in the week of May 24th, 2020. Why are there more deaths this week, Dr. Berger? What's your...
I don't know. Perhaps they are all packing in cargo boats and cargo ships, everybody that's positive in the whole world, and shipping them to this here United States. Who is that? 1,500,000. That has to be more than the world combined. Oh, I must research that soon. But yes, quite a many people ready to get out and get naked, take their shoes off, take their socks off, take off the bras to get all that fresh, clean sunshine and air and the hot dogs down the throat. All 8 inches of hot dogs down the throat in time for summer. And it's Memorial Day. It's time to worship the people that fought for this liberty of running around with the virus going up your nose, in your booty holes and all orifices. That is probably the reason why people are so anxious to celebrate these veterans that fought in civil war for coronavirus and the American Revolution for the coronavirus. Who knows? They all fight for coronavirus. Everyone's very excited to go out to memorialize all these battles for the coronavirus liberty. That's what I'd say.
And Dr. Berger, speaking of which, there have been many stores that have been ordered by different states to reopen, and some have very stern policies that they're abiding by. For example, only a certain amount of consumers or restaurant guests allowed in at one time, and also many stores, especially in grocery stores and in coffee places where there is close contact between customers, they have put in a policy of no masks, but some, they're taking it to a whole new level, Dr. Berger, because they're saying that if by being ordered to wear a mask, that is violating their civil rights. The quandary I have, Dr. Berger, is back several years ago in Colorado, when a gay couple asked a bakery to bake a wedding cake for them, and the bakery said no, it violated their civil liberties. But being asked to wear a mask for protection is violating their civil liberties? Explain that to me. Why is it okay for them not to bake a cake, and yet it's not okay to tell them to wear a mask?
This is one of the most beautiful things that I remember reading about in the books before they were burnt in Germany of the American store policies or business policies. I remember quite well back in the days of the 50s and 60s. I would read these books. I was a little boy in a German closet with the candlestick, so they did not see I was reading American, what they considered gibberish. But there was these rules of these stores. They had these signs that says no colors. Yes, the green people could not go in. The purple people, especially the one-eyed, one-horn flying people, couldn't go in these stores. But there was also signs that said no blacks. There was also signs that said very, very, very bad words, but these were rules that were held up with businesses. And the people said, well, they have rules, so you must follow. And then the 70s and 80s come around, and then I remember growing up and I visited the United States, and there were these signs about no shoes, no shirt, and you must wear shoes, and you must have your pants above your waist and cinched with a belt. And these were rules that were pushed by businesses, and no no one made the big deal about it. So you see, it started out with the no colors, no blicks, and then it went on to the no shoes, no shirts, no service. And now they have this rule that the business is saying that you must wear a mask to shop. Oh, the masks are now a big issue? Oh, not the problem with the blacks or the colored people couldn't shop, couldn't sit, couldn't drink from the fountain, couldn't poop. You know, there is something going on. This is proven that rules are meant for only a specific collection of people, because these masks, if you notice, it does take a whole bunch of effort. If I must say, you must get up in the morning, you must shower, brush your teeth, fix your hair if you want to, or put a hat on. You have to wear your clothes, you have to tie your shoes. All this effort to put on a mask that takes 2 seconds. That is violating the rights of a very specific few people. And when I say few, I say perhaps it's a small amount of people who truly make no difference in the world, but they want to try and make a difference because they feel small. That is all opinion, I do say. However, these rules, they seem to change with the passing of time. I guess people feel they are entitled to follow their own rules that were started by a group of people that did not like the British, and they killed all the buffalo, to kill all the Indians, to put them in some reservation with no water access in the middle of the desert on the mountains of Montana. Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Berger, are those the same people that are really pulling focus right now in Michigan? What's going on in Michigan, Dr. Berger? Why so much focus there?
Oh, well, I do have to say that perhaps many people have forgotten that there was a time that there was this lovely individual by the name of Governor or Mayor Schneider. That's a good German name, Schneider. So a long time ago, there was this little waterway that connected the people of Flint, Michigan to a natural water source up in the Michigan state that I believe was adjacent to the Canadian border. I could be wrong. I did not master in geology. So what happens there is that there was a Governor Schneider decided that, oh, well, let's go ahead and build a new route of water and bring it to the people of Flint. This was a key code word for privatization. So what happened is that the water was cut off. And then this brown water full of lead was filling Flint, Michigan, bathtubs and the hospitals and the schoolyard and the houses of a particular group of people. I'd like to call them the working class. And after that, Mr. Mayor Schneider got a phone call from some friends at the GM companies that water was destroying all of their cars, so they could not make their millions and pay their workers lower than minimum wage. So Mr. Schneider helped his friend out at the GM factory and make a separate water supply access of fresh water, but the people have been getting that lead water ever since and dying and absorbing all the lead. So there's the first thing that's going on in Michigan. And after that, no jobs, poverty going through the roof, and of course all these friends of Mr. Schneider coming in. And later it was found out that Mr. Schneider was being a criminal. He was doing criminal work. Michigan has always been on the cover of some kind of naughty things going on up there. So what a better way to deflect from the naughty things going on up there than go towards this new Michigan governor who's trying to enforce some rules, who's trying to help out as much as she can in a situation that seems to be labeled still a hoax, still false, and still something that's intended to destroy the economy. Perhaps what's going on in Michigan is a deflection of what's truly going on in the world, because no other city is raising hell like this. All the other cities aren't getting such a federal attention, such federal focus, but it's Michigan. We've already found out that the protesters up there were paid from California and they were paid from other states to go up and cause a ruckus. Methinks that there is something going on in Michigan that's trying to deflect from the real problem.
And the same administration, Dr. Berger, is pushing for the opening of public places such as beaches, lakeside, picnic areas, and also churches. My question to you, Dr. Berger, is why the push to open the churches when one can worship at home with online services? Why does one need to be in the church in order to receive grace?
Very, very good question. It all deals with the science of religion. So as we have seen in the science of religion, you need a house filled with gold, filled with wood from the forest of Jesus, and filled with ceramics, and filled with all kinds of beautiful things, because as you know, Jesus was a multimillionaire and he had all the gold, all the frankincense, myrrh and rubies, emeralds and diamonds. And he had all of this because that is how you worship the God. You dress up in the Gucci and Dolce & Gabbana and you go to the church to praise the multi-million-dollar name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. May he wear his ruby slippers and emerald earrings for life and the afterlife. So that is what we have here. People need concrete, people need gold, and people need sturdy wooden pews to worship a God. Because that's how you worship a God. Jesus and God are not around you in the air, the trees, the water. Everything you see outside your window is the work of the devil. And the work of the God only comes out and in the church with the big gold cross of 24 karat gold on top. And the strip mall, there's a little cubby where you have those little community churches that have the running water. They bring in the little cups and saucers that are good china because that's how you worship God. The Christians need a place to worship that does not resemble the poverty of their home because Jesus was born in a Trump Plaza hotel at the top of the penthouse. It was not the little bassinet of baskets. That is a false story. There is no such place as Palestine. I must say that. But there is something about the Gucci little penthouse in the sky that held baby Jesus with full head of hair that was blown out and curled with a nice ruby red tint. That is the God that they want to worship. And don't you tell them nothing else. That is what I have to say. So the push has been to open these churches to make multimillionaires even more millionaire in the name of the God. Funniest thing is that they were already open before the reopening happened. A sad situation in Houston, Texas. A poor priest died of coronavirus and there's reason to believe that he exposed his entire congregation to the coronavirus and they had to shut down. So people, of course, are always going to find a way to complain. They complain that the house of God owns their little Jimmy Choo shoes that they wear to service. They need to wear these shoes. They need to wear all this flotsam and jetsam to worship the Savior and Lord because the earth surrounding them is not enough Jesus for them. I believe that's what's going on. Mm-hmm.
And speaking of state politics, Dr. Berger, there is a judge in Houston, the Honorable Lena Hidalgo, has extended the stay-at-home order until June 10th. But the order has been superseded by the governor's order to return back to work. How is that going to play politically, Dr. Berger?
This is a beautiful thing. I remember growing up, still reading in the closet about its 10th Amendment, the States' Rights Amendment. Of course, the states' rights stop there. They don't go to city rights. The cities have no rights because that's not how American politics work. The American politics is your state and your government. The government should not overreach, but if the state wants to overreach into the cities, by all means, I believe the people that try to enforce the 10th Amendment don't care about the 10th Amendment unless it affects them personally. So what's going on here? We have a judge, again, who's trying to do her best. And you know, perfection is not something that American politicians are very equipped with, but all the voters or the people that don't like the party that she's in, they want perfection, but perfection on their terms, not working towards perfection. Is this very innocent person, or I should say, this very green individual who has not held much stature in politics and perhaps we could say is a little wet behind the ears. She has to realize that she's dealing with a group, I should say a population of American citizens who don't like, authority. They frown in the face of authority. But when the person that they voted for in the Oval Office, quote unquote, overreaches the authority because they are part of the party that they like, of course they don't mind the overreach and the authority. But of course, this little girl who is not really killing anybody and she's not really stepping on anyone's rights. I'm still searching for the rights that it says mask wearing and homestay orders are in contradiction to Amendment 467 under the party of the 1776 Act. I don't know these things, so I'm not even going to try. But I applaud her for the effort. I do not think it is going to work. However, I have not seen all these policemen policing these little stay-at-home rules because they know that they cannot control over 1 million people and tell them to stay at their homes. It's just not going to happen, but I applaud the effort.
And Dr. Berger, I had read that she extended the order because there has been a spike in coronavirus numbers in the state of Texas, the state that you're residing in right now. What do you think is causing the spike of coronavirus in Texas?
Oh, well, people want to make babies. That's what it is. People lip locking, booty bumping. It's just a lot of people getting hot and sweaty under the sun and they're getting right by each other. There was this beautiful TikTok, as the kids say. There was this beautiful TikTok online about people partying in the Ozarks. They were all in a pool. They were all in their cute little onesies or their cute little bikini tops and shorts, their little fans with the horrible tasting Bud Light, Budweiser beer in their hand with the little coosties. And they were having the greatest time. And that's what's going on here in Texas. A lot of people feeling that they were locking themselves in their own houses, which was their fault. Why are you locking yourself in your house? It's beautiful weather. Ride a bike, read a book, go out and have a picnic. Don't be so silly locking yourself in the house. Oh, so what happened is a lot of people are going to the beach and say, oh, my freedom, I feel like I was on Amistad. No, you weren't. You weren't on Amistad because Amistad did not have mattresses. They did not have running water. It did not have electricity. So stop with your boo-hooing. So they went out to all these pools and they went out in picnics. They went to the park. They went to all these places they felt that they were taken away from. And of course, they're getting close to each other. They're not wearing their masks. They're talking to each other as close as my mouse is to this microphone. And they're spitting, hello, good morning, I miss you. That's what's going on. Yeah.
And Dr. Berger, people are desperate for a cure or a quick treatment. Now, the current administration has stated that they take a drug called, help me with it, Dr. Berger, hydroxychloroquine. Am I pronouncing it correctly?
That is correct.
Now, there is a certain member of the highest office in the land who has stated that he takes sorry, Dr. Berger, what is it?
Hydroxychloroquine.
Hydroxychloroquine, and it is keeping him safe and immune from coronavirus. However, Dr. Berger, this drug is a known treatment for malaria and also certain types of lupus. It has been reported that lupus patients that require the drug are having a difficult time acquiring it. What's going on with this hydroxychloroquine, Dr. Berger, and is it a cure-all for Corona-19?
Well, I will say this hydroxychloroquine has never been proven as a cure of anything. It has been proven as a treatment. Perhaps I should spell it out, but my spelling is worse than my verbiage. The hydroxychloroquine, I repeat, is not a cure as proven. It has been proven as a treatment for, as you say, the lupus, and it is considered an anti-malarial, of course, for when you travel to other countries and you get in the water and the malaria enters every orifice you have below your waist or above your head, depending if you are going into the water head first. But it is a treatment, not a cure. Perhaps it is trying to be forced as a cure. There is perhaps another millionaire who's down on his luck, and rather than have the multi-millions that he has only millions that aren't very multi, and he has to purchase a yacht to get to Dubai. But what this push with this hydroxychloroquine, I applaud the effort for in the name of this science, but there has to be something that it has been called before. I think it's called junk science. That has been proven as, but not very, very, very beneficial. But what we have here, we have another persistent push for this hydroxychloroquine that I haven't even seen anybody say, why is the push? Why is the push if there is no proof? You tell a child, go ahead and make green with this yellow and blue. They're going to look at you funny. Yellow, blue, green. I don't believe. You have to prove it to me, right? So what do? We color the yellow and we color the blue and it makes green. It's like you tell somebody, oh, the sky is nice color of orange today. That is not orange, that is blue. Well, prove to me that it's blue. Well, open your stupid eyes and just look up. It's blue. So people need the proof. And there is no proof that the hydroxychloroquine has cured anything. It is only coming from the mouth of a person who has proven nothing but failure.
And speaking of said person, I need to ask, how does golfing cure coronavirus, Dr. Berger?
Oh, this is a very deep conversation conversation into science. So what happens is the green of the grass, you have this chlorophyll that when you puncture it with the shoes of the cleats of the golf shoe, you release this chlorophyll into the air. And through this air, it connects to that little white ball on top of this little T, because the chlorophyll is attracted to this white ball that has the tickliest word on it. So it hovers itself, or it embeds itself in all the little divots of that ball. So what happens is you get a 3 wood. You have to get the 3 wood because 3 wood is better than 1 wood. So you get this 3 wood and you grab it just right with your gloved hand. As you step close to the ball, the cleats release more chlorophyll from this greenery on the field of the golf yard, and it makes more attraction to that white ball. So when you take that 3 wood and you reach back to it, you get a nice good curve. You leave your feet planted on the ground. You bend your knees ever so slightly. It's all in the twist of your hips. The twist of the hips calls on the coronavirus. It says, Achtung, Achtung, this chlorophyll is coming for you. So as you release this twist, the coronavirus is set at attention in your direction. So when you release this twist and you take this 3 wood and you hit the ball that has the chlorophyll attached, you shoot that ball into the coronavirus air, and as you swivel your hips to the other direction, there is a scream that goes with that little white ball full of chlorophyll, and that chlorophyll pierces the coronavirus, and thereby it releases all the gas, killing the coronavirus and saving all the Zimbabwean children that are set to get the coronavirus. That is how golfing works in the cure. Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Berger, on the same plane that we're on, speaking of planes, how does an air show help to inspire our healthcare workers that are working 90 hours a week, aren't allowed to go home and see their family because the fear of contamination to their family? How does an air show inspire them, Dr. Berger?
Oh, this is beautiful. So all the air shows have been going on for quite some time. It was the land of the foil tint hat people, I guess they were called. They talked to us about these planes up in the sky, that they were having these clouds across. They look like lines of cocaine from Studio 54 when I visited in the 70s. What do they call the tracks in the sky? The tin hat foiled people of the little country. They said that was a government work to poison us. With the air shows, they are needed to inspire these people that are closed inside of a building, because when people are closed inside of a building, they have these planes that are flying overhead, and the imagination of the joy that these airplanes are going to bring to them. You know, since they can't see them, they have to put a little fig Newton in their head of what it looks like. And that is inspirational. The inspiration of something you can't see and something that could have been utilized for something better. You know, that's very inspiring when you see about so many multi-million dollars of machinery and gasoline. You see your leadership standing on helipads on top of the building that can see it, but they still work from home. Meanwhile, you sit in the bowels of urine, feces, blood draws, and whatever. I believe that was the inspiration they were trying to get. They were trying to inspire the leadership of hospitals to work harder from home, not so much the healthcare workers that are stuck in plastic, sweating and covered in poo-poo and pee-pee. Mm-hmm.
Yes, Dr. Berger, and let's take our conversation to the White House. This week, the hotelier-in-chief refused to unveil Barack Obama's presidential portrait. What are your thoughts on that? Why did he do that, Dr. Berger?
Who knows? There is something going on with a person that really does not want to take the time to lift a piece of cloth off to unveil a picture. It has been proven already that tradition is not something that the hotelier-in-chief wants to continue. However, the tradition of bankruptcy is something he wishes to keep on very strongly. And I remember talking to my friend Freud when he was trying to find the inner sexual child of all individuals in Germany. And I asked Freud, I say, "Hi, Freud, when a person doesn't want to follow tradition, when a person doesn't want to perhaps reveal a photo of his predecessor, someone that has done I can't compare and say the same work, but held the same office." There we go. He held the same office as him. And it's a tradition simply to show a photo. Is there a particular word for the person who won't follow such tradition? And Freud looked at me and he said, "Yeah." And I said, "What is the word, Freud? What's the word for that?" And he said, stupid. As I said before, we cannot expect more from a person who does not follow traditions unless tradition is one that makes him millions and millions and his children millions and millions of dollars.
And Dr. Berger, with this current administration, there has been a scandal this week regarding a certain someone who has been arrested for insider trading, a congresswoman's husband. What's going on with that, Dr. Berger? And can someone who works for the Fed be tricked by an online stock exchange program such as Ameritrade or E-Trade?
This is something that's been going on for a very, very long time. There was this insider trade from our friend, our homemaker, and our baker extraordinaire, Martha Stewart, who also did the insider trading, and she got caught as well. And this girl who we're talking about, she got caught as well. So what's the difference, you say? There is a problem that with Martha Stewart, she was unfortunately not equipped with friends in higher places, although she does have friends in higher places. She did not snitch. So snitches got stitches, but her stitches were meant for witches. I don't know how that goes. But what I can say is that there is always something from the parties that promotes accountability, that they don't want to take accountability for their own actions. So Martha Stewart was put in the clink for about 8 months, and she still cooked, and she still did her home economics. But our little friend here, who is just a pretty little blonde head thing, nothing seems to be going on with her, but she does say that she places the blame on everyone but herself, which is quite honestly, back to the word tradition, it's quite a tradition that's been showing for the past 20 years of one particular group of people, and it is the tradition that seems to be carried on by the hotelier-in-chief. So to sum up, what's going on there is that we have, of course, a privileged few that doesn't want to get caught. They don't want to take accountability for their own silly actions, and they are pointing the finger at someone else that they're probably calling the fake news, the fake Ameritrade. But Ameritrade has been doing so much. They, from what I understand, is that they just give you numbers, and if you look at the numbers, you make your own decisions. But if you have your own little insider coup, as our friends did before, jail or no jail, that is a problem of your own and not a website.
And Dr. Berger, there is so much talk right now with all of the bailouts going on, be it to the American people and also to big corporations. Now, some corporations have been very good to their employees, giving them help when there's no work to be done at the moment, giving them financial assistance. But my question, Dr. Berger, is if a big corporation is given any kind of financial bailout and then doesn't help their employees or does help their employees, but also awards multi-million-dollar bonuses to CEOs, should said corporation be allowed to have a big business bailout if they're giving millions of dollars to a group of people?
Good question. So it all boils down to the science of privilege. What we have there, and I believe we have talked about it before, is that this bailout and this money going out, it hasn't been out for everybody. We have small businesses that, as you said, they're still suffering. And they applied for the PPP loans, but they didn't get it. So who got all of these loans? It was these big businesses, these friends of friends. But that was something we discussed a while back, is that, of course, all this money is going to them because multimillionaires need more multimillions to survive their multimillion lifestyle. They cannot survive on just merely 5 yachts and 6 buildings. They need more because that's how you survive. You need more. And of course, with all of these bailouts, the simple people were happy with this 1,200 because, of course, some of them were saying, well, be happy you got at least something. They are starving children. Well, yes, we were talking about them before all this madness happened, and now they're going to be starving even more. So, of course, with all this money that seems to be going around and of course, we had our little friend with the Dallas salon up in the Dallas who had got about $500 from the GoFundMe along with the PPP loan, and she was still complaining that she couldn't feed anybody because she needed to purchase more exotic animals and hire the Mexican free labor to trim her yard. So with all this bailout, I applaud the effort of trying to convey that you are doing something. But of course, this just simply goes to the point of tradition where bankruptcy and spending money, that's what conservative fiscal opportunity or fiscal management is. It's spend money on your friends. Of course, we have with the CEOs, they there are a particular privileged few who feel that the CEOs are very poor in the eyes of the world, and that the poor people are richer because we have our emotions, and we are hard workers, and we have ballet lessons. We take little Susie and probably little Bobby too. We have to feel sorry for the CEOs because the CEOs rule the world, and their multi-million dollars cannot help me or you in this world. They need more multi-millions, so they need to make us pay. They need to pay us less and pay us nothing. We have to work for free. That is how America works. You sacrifice for your multi-millionaires so that your multi-millionaires can live off your back.
And Dr. Berger, right now, unemployment is at a staggering 32%. I don't have the history and the economic knowledge that you do, but tell me, Dr. Berger, we've discussed this before. Right now, some people are making more on unemployment than they did at their job. But unemployment is only, I believe, a 8 to 16 week program. What's going to happen, Dr. Berger? One, when someone who is making more money on unemployment has to go out and find work again, how are they going to make ends meet? And two, what's going to happen to our system, that our system is going to be literally bankrupt within 5 years? What are we going to do, Dr. Berger? I need you to pull out all the stops on this answer.
Well, what we have here, when we started, we were introduced to numbers that was the lowest they have always been. And you could include the pouty lips. That the numbers of unemployment has been the lowest they have been ever. The numbers are so low, even the devil says, hey, you're in my space down here. The numbers are too low. Okay. So the numbers of unemployment were low. The lowest they have always been. And we fast forward to 4 years. Now we can say that the numbers are the highest they have always been. It's quite a conundrum. Of course, we go from the lowest numbers to the highest numbers, but if the party of accountability take no accountability for what is going on, and we press forward. So I remember discussing about this shutdown or this homestay or this pretend that we're stomping your rights to protect the general population, and all the businesses were getting hammered, and they introduced people have to apply for unemployment, and they introduced, oh no, we got to open up early, we cannot have the people on unemployment because they are going to, obviously what we have here is they are going to be paid more money than the minimum wage, and we can't have that because our multimillionaires again need more money. The big companies are given these bailouts, and the small businesses are scrimping and saving for money. They're looking under their pillows of their couches. They're looking in their cars for all the money that they can have. All of them don't have any GoFundMe pages from political groups to raise money. So what we have now is we have the problems that a lot of people were discussing not even 2 weeks ago or perhaps even further, is that the economy is going in the directions that people were told 4 years ago, is that we're going to go bankrupt. We're going to have problems. The money is going to disappear. And here it goes. All the money is disappearing. Who knows where it goes? But it's probably in some banks in the US Virgin Islands and some other Swiss banks in Europe. All the money seems to be going in all the directions except the blue-collar workers are not getting their fair share. Why? Because they're not working hard enough. They're still sitting at home lazy because it's coronavirus. So what's going on here is we have money going to rich people so that rich people could pay their workers. We have to find out if they're paying their workers. And I was told, and you shared, that some of them are paying their workers. But what is they paying their workers? Are they paying them the same amount monthly? Are they paying them less amount monthly? Are they being told to use their paid time off to get paid because they can't be afforded anymore? But we've come to realize with some stories that the big businesses are laying off millions of people to save money, and they're getting these bailouts. That way they can pay their workers the money, but the ones that they fired, they don't have to pay them, or they get to keep the bonuses. It's all economics that's not introduced very clearly because we're not meant to understand it, because we're not multimillionaires. We're supposed to just shake our heads and go, yes sir, yes ma'am, and I sit here and do nothing. So with what's going on with the money, going into what some Americans call a tailspin, corkscrew, spiral, I guess Darcy's tornado with the red shoes, I don't know. But we are going downhill, and we're going downhill pretty fast, and I don't think all this partying or this quote-unquote returning to normal is going to help us. What's going to help us is we need to get a leader. We need to get leaders that support leaders and leaders that support the working class, because as you've seen, the working class is just next to nothing, but we're about to disappear. And we're disappearing fast, and a lot of people are, of course, they're going to survive behind the Second Amendment, and they're going to survive because they're going to get their hair done and their nails done. There's a lot of different economic things going on. There's a lot of stories that are true, but right now we don't have the leadership to put it into motion about recuperating, or what is the word, recovery.
Also, Dr. Berger, there was a report, of course, we've discussed it in several episodes of the COVID catch-up, that there isn't enough proper medical equipment right now to treat the over 1 million cases of COVID. And now there's a report that 200 ventilators are being sent to Russia. Can you comment at all on what's going on there?
Well, I must say that, Siberia, I visited Siberia before, and it's very cold. And the ventilators up there will give them the warmth. They haven't been able to afford any heaters up there, or at least I don't think they are available to support, the heat up there. So I believe our leadership feels that our country with the over 1,500,000, we don't need the ventilators. I think Russia needs it more because the deaths haven't reached the numbers that we have. So of course, more people need to die in Russia. So that's why they're giving the ventilators to Russia, is that these aren't going to be very helpful here because Americans don't need ventilators. That's the liberty of everything, is that the liberty, they want to go out, they want to get the bug, and if they die, they die. Leave them on the street. That's what's going on. But in Russia, where people want to live and they want to go to the hospital, they probably need the ventilators even more. So, there's all a question of what liberty to support, and our leadership, of course, has proven their liberty and their following and their, I guess I should say, foot kissing is for other people and not the worker of America. So with these 200 ventilators going to the Russian Federation, the country, I would say that I applaud the effort of being a friend to another country, and it's something that should be taken into consideration as to the WTF situation of American politics.
Very eye-opening. Thank you so much, Dr. Berger, for being with us this week. Can we count on you again next week for the COVID catch-up?
Absolute. I expect more scientific stories, especially dealing with the science of politics, the science of social media, and the science of big liars that are nowhere on TV anymore because their stories were proven to be fake. Oh, I love science. I will be back for sure.
Dr. Berger, thank you.
This has been Ellocution with your host, Elo Black.